The channel's not doing that great. What could I do in order to get more views? Well, I guess you could call this an emergency. Fine, I'll do it. I'll become a top 10 AnyTuber. Sure, why not? And if you're here, let's change our channel description to match our newfound identity.
You son of a bitch! I'm in!
Hello and welcome to class. I'm your drunk sensei and today I'm selling my today I'll let you know what 5 shonen anime I consider that are the best for someone new to the genre. Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about what do I want to do with this channel, and I always wanted this channel to be about the community first. And what part of the community is mostly ignored? Yeah, the noobs. The truth is that there is very little anime content out there that is made with the newer anime fans in mind. Those pure souls that for one reason or another wish to delve in this fuckfest of degeneracy, memes and constant arguing over who is the best waifu, in order to scar their souls forever. I feel like these people need my guidance more than anyone. Why? Because somebody has to stop them from becoming Boruto fans.
I can't believe it!
Jokes aside, I see people on Reddit and Twitter always asking for recommendations, and I thought that it would be a cool idea to make a new series where I take every anime genre and give out 5 anime that I think that are the most suited for someone without much prior experience that wants to get into the genre. So please, note that this is not a ranking video. The order I chose this anime is random. These are just 5 anime that I thought are the best to watch for someone that wants to get into shonen and doesn't know where to begin. Also, I need to make some clarifications. I tried as much as I could to stay away from long-running series like Naruto, Bleach, One Piece or Fairy Tail because they tend to drag on, and I don't think that a long-running series is a good recommendation for someone new. As much as I wanted to stay away from series that are popular because there's a big chance that people had already seen them, I must include My Hero Academia on the list because I consider that it's the best modern shonen in terms of raw experience. The great thing about My Hero is that it's very easy to understand even for someone new to the genre who has never watched anime before or watched very little. The story is told from the perspective of Izuku Midoriya, an ordinary middle schooler in a world full of people with basically superpowers that are called quirks. And because of these special powers that humanity has developed, the dream job of becoming a superhero is now finally possible. It's a journey about growth, about rising to the top despite all of the drawbacks that society and you put over yourself. It's the journey of a mediocre kid that wants to rise to the top of the hero world. Characters in shonen are pretty two-dimensional when it comes to their goals, because, let's be honest, shonen is targeted to a younger audience, so they need to make the goals of the characters as clear as possible. And that is true for My Hero as well. It doesn't try to hide anything and puts all of his cards to the table from the start. This is the story of Deku and his journey of becoming the #1 hero. And the fact that the story revolves around heroes is just a plus when you recommend this to someone new. Almost anyone knows about superheroes. It's much easier to try and tackle a show you have some prior knowledge of some of its concepts and themes. So yeah, I know that people are very much tired of My Hero, but don't let that discourage you if you're interested in the genre. The fact that it's so popular and got into the mainstream only shows that the show has done some things right. The next entry is the 7 Deadly Sins. From all the anime on this list, I think that this one follows the old school classic shonen formula the most. The story is straightforward and linear in the sense that every new villain is stronger than the previous one, which pushes the main characters to get stronger as well, and the power scaling is all over the place. If you might ever get confused at some point, there's one thing that you should remember. Hawk is the strongest, period. The 7 Deadly Sins is the story of Princess Elizabeth and her journey with Eren. I mean Todoroki. No, wait, what? Meliodas, yeah, that's it. Her journey with Meliodas, who is a bit of a pervert and the owner of a tavern on the back of a giant pig. Yeah, you heard me right. I'm not making this shit up. He's also part of a group of peculiar but very strong misfits called the 7 Deadly Sins. They journey across the country to find the other members so that they could save their kingdom. 7 Deadly Sins has 2 seasons that are worth watching at the moment. There is indeed a 3rd season there, but
we do not speak his name.
If you want to continue the story past season 2, I recommend reading the manga. But if you're not the type of person that's into reading manga, you can watch the anime, I guess. But be warned, it's bad. Very bad. I recommend this anime for people that want to get into shonen because it's a perfect example of a modern shonen that has that classic feel without being outdated. Yes, the story is straightforward, the characters are single-minded typologies, but that doesn't mean that they are bad. No, for what they represent, they do a great job. They have a lot of personality and are likable, and you will enjoy it greatly if you're a sucker for action and great fighting scenes. I know that some of you might be very surprised right now. Maybe you didn't even know that Dr. Stone was a shonen. But surprise, it is! And it's one that adds its own spin to the genre, like what would happen if the protagonist would not be a dumb fuck? Now this is innovation. Dr. Stone is in a weird position, being this out-of-place primitive technology shonen adaptation. It's a post-apocalyptic shonen that is set in a world where humanity was one day stoned. Bad joke, I'm sorry. It's set in a world where humanity was one day turned into stone. After a couple of thousands of years, some humans start to depetrified, if that is even a word, and they are left in a world that was reset back to the Stone Age. It's the story of Senku, the genius boy that still rocks that Yu-Gi-Oh hair, and his wish to rebuild the human civilization back to its former glory. But Senku's plan is not that easy to accomplish because of another faction led by a human that is so absurdly strong that no one seems to acknowledge the fact that punching a fully grown lion had no fucking sense, especially in a show that follows logic and science. Anyway, there's this faction that wants to leave humanity in the state that it's currently in, because, let's be honest, the world is corrupted by shitty adults that don't deserve to live. What is this, Persona?
All these shitty adults by
I recommend this anime to any newcomers, because even though it might not be as action heavy as other entries on this list, it's still a pretty easy to understand shonen. I do not think that Dr. Stone excels over any other anime on this list, but just the fact that it's so different makes the experience worthwhile. Next on the list is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Or that is what I would have said if I didn't drop the anime after only 17 episodes. Put your torches away and listen to me. I mentioned previously that I did not enjoy Fullmetal Alchemist, and I stand by it. But from what I saw, I do think that it's a good anime and a really good experience if you can learn to enjoy it, which seems to be anybody besides me. But that's not the point. At the same time, I cannot vouch for it because I never finished watching it, so this is just a short recommendation that you can check for yourself. The real next entry on the list is Assassination Classroom. This is one of the most underrated shonen anime out there because not many people talk about it, even though I consider it to be one of the best ones made in the past decade. Assassination Classroom is one of those anime that you will not take too seriously at the beginning, but as the story progresses and you'll start investing more and more feelings into it, it will break you apart. Even though it starts as a gag anime meant to make you wonder what the fuck is happening and what gender is the protagonist, it tackles so much more heavy themes than many other shonen. If you manage to get over its absurdity, you'll realize that this anime it's a roller coaster of emotions, heavy moments, and a reflection on humanity through the eyes of someone that is not human, yet is more human than many of us. Assassination Classroom is about Koro Sensei, a mysterious alien that appeared one day and destroyed half of the moon. Now, in fear of the Earth having the same fate, a class of students had been given the task of assassinating him before it's too late. However, what nobody expected is the fact that this strange creature is an exceptional teacher that cares about his students and helps them grow and mature.
笑顔で胸を張れる暗殺をしましょう。君たち全員、それができる力を秘めた有能なアサシンだ。ターゲットである先生からのアドバイスです。
Yeah, I can relate. Right? Right, guys?
Nope.
Being a gag anime, it has some elements that you won't find in other shonen, like a story pattern that is more episodic than linear. It creates consistency for the comedic effect, but I assure you that if you give it a chance, you will enjoy it. Now, I would like to glide over some honorable mentions that did not make on the list. Black Clover. This anime screams shonen more than any other. The only reason why it's not on the list is the fact that it's a weekly series that has already over 130 episodes, and I consider it too big of a commitment for someone new who wants to explore shonen for the first time. Demon Slayer, the anime that broke Twitter with one well-animated episode. Demon Slayer is still a very decent shonen that can hold its own in front of any other anime on this list. It's a straightforward and simple story, it has a lovable cast and the best little sister in recent history of anime. Fire Force is a bit of a weird one. It's about a group of firefighters that fight people that turn into flame monsters called Infernals. It's a very basic shonen that does a good job of presenting its world and characters. It has best girl Hibana, and the overall production quality offered by David Production makes it a worthwhile experience. And the last entry on the list is Mob Psycho 100. I know that I said that this list is random and in no particular order, but to be truly honest with you, there is a good reason why I chose to talk about Mob Psycho the last. Why? Because if you take this list as reference, I recommend checking this out the last. I'm sure that there will be many people thinking, "But Sensei, Mob Psycho is not even a shonen anime, what the f***?" And they are half right. Mob Psycho is more of a deconstruction of a shonen. Like Assassination Classroom, it's a gag anime meant to take the most common tropes and character typologies used in shonen and deconstruct them, showcasing the absurdity and the flaws of the genre in a comedic light. This is why I said that it should be watched as the last on the list, because knowing some of the tropes before will make this show so much more enjoyable and easier to understand. I debated with myself for a while if I should put this on the list or not, because it's not very newcomer friendly, but due to it being a comedy, it's not that taxing in prior knowledge like, let's say, Hunter x Hunter, where if you have no prior knowledge of shonen power systems, none will fuck your brain up. Considering this and the fact that Mob is such a pleasant overall experience, I chose to put it on the list in the last position. Now, truth to be told, Mob is not for everyone. It's weird, it's wacky, has some crazy visuals, so you either love it or hate it. If you give it a chance and see that it's not your cup of tea, it's okay to give up. Mob is the story of Kageyama Shigeo, a very impressive and ordinary boy that is one of the strongest espers in existence. This duality between him and his exceptional powers set him on a journey of self-exploration, tackling some pretty strong and mature themes as taking responsibility for your own actions and discrimination. It's an awesome show with a lot of character growth and a cast of people so absurd that you can't help yourself not to love.
超能力も単なる特徴の一つに過ぎない。個性として受け入れて前向きに生きていくしかないんだ。魅力の本質は人間味だ。いいやつになれ。以上。
If you're new to anime and this helped you in any way, please let me know down below in the comments. Or if you're already a seasoned shonen veteran, you can put down your own suggestions. Don't forget to subscribe and see you next time.